Tell us a bit about how this region's challenges with water entered into the decision to bring the exhibit to Phoenix.
Sure. I first saw the exhibition in November of 2013 when I was attending a conference in New Orleans, and immediately felt that the show resonated with my experience of having lived in Tucson and worked in Phoenix, and that our audience in Phoenix would have a particular perspective, a particular insight in what it means to live in a place where water and one's awareness of water comes with a kind of heightened tension. And so I felt like the Phoenix Art Museum audience might be particularly receptive to an exhibition of this kind.
I think you're exactly right. Now there are it's a worldwide exhibit. There are a number of images that relate directly to the American Southwest. Actually, I'm thinking of the Baja picture in particular, but not all of them. Nevertheless, it does seem to speak directly to the circumstances we face now.
Yeah, I think that part of what interested me about the exhibition is that most of the people who live in Arizona are thoughtful about water and the conservation of water and are tuned in. But what I liked about the exhibition is that it explored water in a whole life cycle, a whole range of ways, and might alert people to thinking about water in ways that we aren't familiar with or aren't as typical for us. So the show begins with aerial views of the Deepwater Horizon oil spill, which many of us remember and saw images of when it happened in 2010. But seeing images of Deepwater Horizon put next to pictures of development in the American Southwest, where we rely so heavily on the use of water from the Colorado River in order to water our lawns or take care of our trees or fill our swimming pools or water the golf courses, would help create all of these ideas within a single context.
Now, Burtynsky's medium seems especially suited to telling this story, humankind's interaction with water. But are there other aspects of his art that particularly appeal to you?
Well, I especially appreciate the balance that he strikes between trying to underscore a very thoughtful, well-studied, intellectual exploration of this particular topic. Edward Burtynsky is someone who will often do years of research before he takes a single picture. So there's that component, the very deeply thought, very deeply researched component. But then the pictures themselves are not just informative documents. They're incredibly luscious, seductive, sensual, beautiful, colorful artworks. And so I think that interweaving, that blending of approaches, one that is very much designed to appeal to our intellect and our mind, and the other which is designed to appeal to our visual senses, is a very powerful one, and one that I find particularly attractive.
I must say the one about the one depicting the Baja at the end of the Colorado River's journey is really moving, and it just strikes me as constricted capillaries. It's the river struggling to get into the Baja and not quite finishing the job. Said a lot about a highly managed river. Regarding his art, it accents a way humans adapt enormous landscapes, often in a very industrial way, to make water most efficiently serve their needs. Here in the Southwest, 35 million people rely on water from one of the world's most heavily managed water systems, the Colorado. Is there a message in Burtynsky's art about the industrialization of water, do you think?
Well, I think that he thinks of exhibitions like this as an opportunity to invite people to learn more about what he's learned in the process of studying these landscapes, these processes, our interrelationship with water. But I think he also doesn't want to tell us what to think. He's creating an invitation and an opportunity to join him in learning about and thinking about these issues. And I want to honor his perspective and say, you know, I agree. I hope that that's what this exhibition will do, that it will encourage people to learn a little bit more, and maybe they'll see something in the exhibition that they are not familiar with. Maybe they've never seen pictures of aquaculture in China, or maybe they're not aware of the degree to which agriculture is responsible for the depletion of water sources. And so as we look at the exhibition and have our curiosity piqued by the images, I think it's a great opportunity to learn more about these issues and become more knowledgeable, become more engaged, and decide for ourselves how we feel and how we want to approach issues of water scarcity or water pollution or mismanagement of water.
I have to say that there are images in there, such as the image of runoff into the Gulf of Mexico, into the bayou, from the bayou into the water of the Gulf, is really almost mystical. It's of effectively polluted water running into the Gulf, but it's got a mystical nature to it. I found that fascinating.
Yeah, I think the pictures have a very transcendent quality. The notion that they're working on these multiple levels is part of what makes them very captivating.
Yeah, it would be very easy under these circumstances to depict mankind's interplay with water as something entirely negative, but he doesn't do that. He lets you arrive at your own conclusions. I'm just looking at the picture from Yunnan province in China, and it's of a landscape that's you couldn't get it more manipulated for the purposes of growing things, but it's spectacularly beautiful.
Yeah. Yes. No, I think many of the pictures are very beautiful, including pictures of the waterfront where you actually see people interacting with water, pictures of beaches, or pictures where there are people gathering for a Hindu festival. There's, I think also one of the things Burtynsky has done to encourage us to not feel pessimistic about the situation is that the show ends with pure sources of water, pictures of glaciers and high mountains covered in snow. And those kinds of landscapes, I think, offer hope and promise for the future of our relationship with water. And I think Burtynsky wants to leave us with an optimistic and open-ended approach to the subject matter.
From your point of view, is there a bottom line message for Arizona in this exhibit that you found, or not?
You know, I think that maybe the bottom line message is that maybe it's twofold. I think one is that art is a place to be reminded that it's important to stay engaged with issues of essential concern to humankind. And I like that message. I like seeing photography used in that way to invite us in to such an important issue. But I think the other issue is one that many Arizonans are already acutely aware of, which is that water is a resource not to be taken for granted, and that it's something that we have to be consistently mindful of. And I'm very proud of most Arizonans in that we are very mindful of it. But I think this is a nice opportunity to broaden our exposure and our thinking to all of those ways in which we need to be aware of water.
Very good. Well, Becky, it's been really nice talking with you. I really appreciate you taking the time. Thanks very much. It's a beautiful exhibit. I enjoyed it very much.
Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad you enjoyed it, and it was a pleasure to speak with you today.
All right, Becky. Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.